Hey YouTube, Kier Twig here, bringing you guys an update to my Gusto deck profile for the end of May 2017. With this deck I've been on and off on a lot of different builds that I wanted to do, but with my original build I had Terra Top at 3, and with the reduced amount you can run in a deck now, I thought I'd change this deck and also just change the engine up a little, and I like what I came up with for this deck, so let's go ahead and jump right into the deck profile. To start off with the Gusto engine, the whole basis of Gustos is to special summon each different Gusto monster off of each other, and then make use of the different Psychic and Beast type ones you have on the field for cool synchro summon plays. So to start off, I run 3 Winda, Priestess of Gusto. When she's destroyed by battle with an opponent's attacking monster and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon 1 Gusto tuner from your deck. So you have plenty of tuners to search from with this deck, including a Gull and Guldo, which are your main ones you use for your synchro summons. So those are the ones you go into, and there's a small loop you can make with these cards as well, which they can special summon off each other, so it's very hard for your opponent to attack you directly. And including that, you run 3 Gusto a Gull. With this card, when it is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon 1 level non-tuner level 4 lower Gusto type monster from your deck. So off of a Gull, you can get Winda, so completing the chain there. And lastly, 3 Gusto Guldo. When this one is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can special summon 1 level 2 or lower Gusto type monster from your deck. So with Guldo, which is probably the best of the 3, you can get any one of these off, so he's the most versatile as well. But like I said, there's so many ways you could just stick around with these cards and have your opponent not be able to get at your life points. And I also run 2 Kamui, Hope of Gusto. It's a flip effect, and the flip effect is special summon 1 Gusto tuner from your deck. So if you have the play to go off of, you basically flip this up and get the tuner you need for the situation. You can go for Guldo for the level 5, or even a Gull for the level 3 play, if possible. And probably the best one in the deck is Pilica, which I run 3 of. She has the effect where when this card is normal or special summon, you can target 1 wind tuner in your graveyard, special summon that target in face-up defense position. Its effects are negated. If you activate this effect, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except for wind monsters. You can only use this effect once per turn. So once again, I run a good variety of wind-type monsters in the extra deck, so that last effect doesn't really limit to what you can make. But she's a 1-card special summon play, so you just use her and you got your play right there, which is really nice. And I also run 2 Rees, Whirlwind of Gusto. I like her. You gotta tribute most of the time to get her out, but her effect is you can return 1 card from your hand to the bottom of the deck to target 1 monster your opponent controls and 1 face-up Gusto monster you control. Switch control of both of those monsters. You can even control her herself to swap. Only problem with this is you want to make sure you take care of her on your opponent's side of the field, because next turn, if you, let's say you took one of your opponent's big monsters and you did not destroy the Reese, they could just use the same exact effect to switch Reese with the monster you took, or even worse, something that you did not want them to have. And 2 Cam, Serenity of Gusto. This card effect is once per turn you can return 2 Gusto monsters from your graveyard to the deck to draw 1 card. So reshuffle back your Gulls, your Guldos, your Windas, and keep using them later on. Along with the draw effect, it's really nice. And 1 Gusto Thunbolt. This card, if it's destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, at the end of the battle phase, you can remove from play 1 Gusto monster from your graveyard to special summon 1 Wind-type Psychic monster with 1500 or less defense from your deck. So with this, you can either go for your main ones that I go for usually are Rees or Cam, because those are the ones that are the most difficult to special out, because 1, Cam doesn't give you a summon off of her, so you're summoning her out with the risk of shuffling back, and Reese the same as well. You can pay the cost for her effect and then have something activated, so you lose that cost effect, and in the end you invested in too big of a play and can't come back from. But with Thunbolt, you get this out, and then they have that destruction play to go off of, so it's an easy special summon. And that is it for the Gusto engine. For the Speedroid engine, I run the 1 Terra Top. Like I said, it's at 1 now in the upcoming list, so you have to play it by the ear with this card. But I still like the engine in the deck. I also run 1 Tekken Tomborg and 1 Tri-Eye Dice. It's a small little engine, but you'd be surprised how helpful it is with the deck. If I open up the Terra Top, I use the effect to add, getting the Tekken Tomborg and then the Tri-Eye Dice. It's the small little engine that works, and then you have either your Exceed play or your single play, depending on what you want to do. Depending, I think I said depending or something. But anyway, on to the next part. Spells. 2 Dark Hole. I like this card. The destruction effect really helps, especially when there's pesky monsters you need to get over. 2 creature swaps. Now this one is cool because the destruction effect for some of your Gustos can still work. Like basically Yugioh, swap it, you'll still get the effect because it's going to your graveyard, so make use of taking your opponent's resources and still getting yours off by attacking into easy monsters. And 2 Miracle Synchro Fusion. This card lets you use synchro monsters to fusion summon into a monster, and the one I go for is most of the time Ultimate Axon Kicker. It's got quite a hefty effect and good stats as well for an easy fusion summon. And then the other effect is if this card is destroyed while you control it, you draw a card. So another way to bait out your opponent from not wanting to attack your back row using this card to good use. 1 Soul Charge. You don't use life points for anything in this deck, so Soul Charge comes in handy, just reusing your resources from the graveyard. And 1 Emergency Teleport. Once again, another card that is at 1, but very good because it can special summon out Pilica or a lot of other psychic type monsters you run in the deck. 3 Mystical Space Typhoon. I don't really like Twin Twister in the deck because this deck is not too consistent with keeping hand, so you want to save as much as you can, but like I said, a lot of back row can still mess up some synchro plays you want to do or stuff like that, so this card comes in handy. Also running 1 Mind Control just to take my opponent's resources for synchro plays, which comes in handy a lot. And for traps, I run 3 Fiendish Chain. I like this card in the deck for the fact that sometimes with, let's say, for example, the Daigusto Freeze, OTK, we'll get to that later, you need monsters on your opponent's side of the field that don't do anything during the damage step when you're attacking, so Fiendish Chain helps to negate that effect, and then you can just ram into their monsters with your freeze play and not having to worry about any other effects that are going off. Like, for example, Odd Eyes does double damage, so you want to stop that effect, but once again, Freeze will do any damage caused by your monsters to your opponent, so that's not something you really want to worry about. But like I said, it's mostly for the fact that you want to stop their effects off and you want yours to be successful. And also 1 Solemn Warning, 1 Bottomless Trap Pool, the standard traps. And I also run 1 Compulsory Evacuation Device just for the fact that if you do the creature swap or the Reeds plays to your opponent's side of the field and you use Compulse on that monster, it'll go back to its respectable owner, which means the card will be returned to you, which is why I like that. And that is it for the main deck. We'll move on to the extra. I only have 1 Daigusto Freeze, still sadly, but this card's really good. Would definitely run it at 2. It's 1 tuner and 1 or more non-tuner Gusto monsters. When this card is Synchro Summon, you can target 1 Gusto card in your graveyard, add that target to your hand. Your opponent takes any battle damage you would have taken from battles involving face-up Gusto monsters, and this card cannot be destroyed by battles. So using the Yugioh loop, you can deal your opponent a lot of damage because you just keep ramming into them. You just can't do it with Winda because Winda has to be destroyed by your opponent's attacking monster, so if you can, let Winda be your last monster that you attack with. Sometimes even I go into Kamui because Kamui has the lowest stats of most of the Gusto monsters, so with Yugioh, I attack, and then I can go into Kamui, and based on, what I attack into, which most of the time is a monster with more than 2,000 attack, I can deal over 4,000 damage with just those 2 monsters alone, even more if I started off with Yugioh. And also 1 Daigusto Falcos just for the level 4 synchro targets. Haster is also an option if you want to run that instead. 1 Daigusto Guldos for the popping effect of face-up cards. For monsters, 1 Yugioh, the level 7 play. You target 1 face-down card your opponent controls and destroy it by shuffling back Gusto cards. 1 Mistbird Clausolis for the level 3 plays. 1 Clearwing Synchro for wind options, same with Stardust and Mistworm. And also 1 Black Rose Dragon for the field blow-up effect. And then the Ultimate Axon Kicker, in case you didn't know, it requires 1 Psychic-type Synchro monster, which is very easy, and 1 Psychic-type monster. And you can use Miracle Synchro Fusion. Your resources can be in the graveyard, so you can banish them from there or your field. And it can only be special summoned by Fusion Summoning, and it cannot be destroyed by card effects, which is really cool. And during the battle, it has Piercing as well. And when it inflicts damage to your opponent, you gain that damage back. So making use of that, I once had a lot of life points built up from this card, and then I used Soul Charge, and the cost for the Soul Charge was basically nothing, so I thought that was pretty funny. And for Exceed monsters, 1 Totem Bird. This is one of the big targets I go for with the Terratop. And also Daigusto Emerald, Lightning Chidori, Daigusto Phoenix, and Castel to finish off the extra deck. But yeah, that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Also, please don't forget, I'm also working on other decks for you guys. If you have any suggestions as decks you want to see, just, message down below, and I'll definitely look into it if it sounds interesting enough. Hope you all enjoyed the video, and Kira Twig out.